Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris Mooneyham from 680 The Fan, and thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the TCA All Sports Report. Now, thanks for tuning in, everybody, joining our web blog again this week as we now get rolling into the second week of the Georgia High School football playoffs. Sweet 16 all over the state now. Of course, 2A through 6A just played their round of 32 this past weekend, and now they've whittled their field down to 16. And, of course, one a public and one a private, well, they joined the party with their 16-team playoffs. We'll be down to the Elite Eight come next weekend. One of the more surprising results from the opening weekend of the Georgia High School football regular season was a result in the 5A classification, where Rome went into Stephenson, scored a touchdown with zeros on the clock to tie the ball game at 6, made the extra point, and a number 4 seed in Rome upset a region champion in Stephenson 7-6. Stephenson, of course, led by head coach Ron Gartrell, a gentleman who I've come to know him pretty well, as far as a media guy can know a coach anyway, over the last 20 years. Stephenson program started in the mid-1990s, shortly after I graduated high school, and I've been covering high school football since I was in high school. So with the starting of a new program at about that time, I made it a point to get over there and cover the program. And so throughout the 20-plus years of high school coverage that I've had the great fortune of interacting with Coach Gartrell many, many times. And many, many times he's told me that what matters to him most is taking kids in situations in that community, which can be rife with any number of pratfalls and negative things that young men can fall into, taking those kids out of those negative situations, keeping them in school, getting them an education. And if football can do so, let it be a vehicle for these young men to get out of bad situations and maybe get themselves some further education. We talked to him a few weeks ago on the 680 The Fan Friday Night Football Nally Lexus of Roswell Game of the Week, and he told me, I know everyone always thinks about the fact that we haven't been able to get past the quarterfinals, the semifinals, win the ultimate state championship with all the talent that we've had, but what matters is getting these kids to college and getting them that education. And I said, Coach, you've probably told me that 100 times in the 20 years I've been covering you. And he said, well, if I go 20 more years, I'll tell you 100 more times. But as I was getting ready for the TCA All Sports Report, our resident historian, Brad Walsh, sent me his portion of the report this week. And I really, when I read it, was ear to ear with a silly grin, because this week's TCA All Sports Report is dedicated to Mr. Ron Gartrell. So over the next few minutes, I want to read you what Brad Walsh, again, the resident historian at the TCA, what he sent me this week in a little mock-up, a little bio here of Ron Gartrell. Brad goes on to say, the Stephenson Jaguars season unexpectedly ended last Friday night at the hands of Rome High School in the first round of the 2015 5A state playoffs. Seasons always end, but Stephenson's head coach Ron Gartrell's legacy will live on in the record books. The 2015 season gave Coach Gartrell his 200th coaching victory. His overall coaching record now sits at 205 and 108 over a 28-year head coaching career. This milestone accomplishment puts him on the Mount Rushmore of DeKalb County coaching, as all of his 205 victories have been at the helm of 2 DeKalb County programs. He now joins only 53 other men to have amassed over 200 wins in the state of Georgia, and places him second all-time in DeKalb County history, right behind the legendary Buck Godfrey from Southwest DeKalb. Gartrell started his head coaching career at Shamrock High School in 1988. Going off script here for a minute, Jeff Saturday, the longtime NFL center, played under Gartrell at Shamrock. Brad Walsh goes on to say, in 1996, when Stephenson was built, he took the opportunity and has built a perennial power, winning 73% of their games and capturing 8 region titles. He's coached 54 all-state players, 7 who've gone on to the National Football League, and hundreds of others who have received scholarships to college. For Coach Gartrell's winning ways, he'll be honored by the Touchdown Club of Atlanta with the Corky Kell Award for those coaching victories, over 200 here in the state of Georgia. I couldn't think of a better guy for this award to go to on a personal and professional level. Until next week, I'm Chris Mooneyham for the TCA All Sports Report.